Welcome to another edition of Leadership Through Partnership. I'm Craig Adams from AM 930 WEOL. Behind the camera, Bruce Bishop of the Chronicle Telegram. We're here today to talk about a big event, a big family event, Saturday evening in downtown Elyria. So big it takes all three Lorain County Commissioners to tell us about it. Ted Kalo, Lori Kokoski, and Matt Lundy. So let's talk about the big event, Saturday evening. Why should people come to downtown Elyria?
Well, we had a lot of people in the community over the years and decades talking about trying to preserve the courthouse and keeping it in place. And I think if you talk to anybody in Lorain County, if you ask them, when you think of Lorain County, what are the symbols you think of? Obviously, the Lorain Lighthouse immediately comes to mind. I think the Bascule Bridge is another one that kind of comes to mind, at least for me. But definitely the courthouse is always there in the top three. And so we saw this as a wise investment for a government purpose and to preserve the county's history.
Can we talk a little bit about that history? It goes back to the 1800s. When was it built and for what purpose? County courthouse?
Yeah, the interesting history. Elijah Myers was actually the architect. And they began construction in 1878. It took about 3 years to complete. But at the time, it was a very different place in Lorain County. Now we have a population of 306,000 people. At the time, there were 30,000 people living in the county. Elyria was a population of like 5,000. Now it's, 55,000. And the actual cost of that courthouse at the time, $200,000. Boy, we would have loved to have had that price tag, right?
Yeah.
Might have been a lot of money back then, though.
Absolutely.
$200,000. So through the years, it probably has gone through some changes, but at some point you decided we've got to do something more with this. What went into that decision making?
Well, we had discussions with the judges about repurposing the facility and finding a place that was more up-to-date, clean, modern for the adult probation department. There's a lot of discussion, 5th floor of the Justice Center, which had never been expanded. Another facility we ended up moving them to temporarily, the Annex, which is on Broad Street in Elyria. And we finally settled on the redo of the courthouse. It needed to be redone anyway. It's through its 3rd or 4th renovation. I mean, there's not much historical purpose left inside of it anymore. The walnut wood has all been painted, the murals are all been covered, there was paneling up on the walls, but again, it's an iconic building in Lorain County. You couldn't just demolish it, so we had to put the effort into remodeling it and making it a good use for the adult probation department, who will be moving back into it to use the facility.
I would think to redo that building would be somewhat expensive. Can you talk a little bit about the cost and how it's paid for?
Well, actually, it's general fund dollars. All in, it's going to be about $6.7 million with the rehab remodeling. We added approximately 4,000 additional square feet to the building with the whole handicap access on the, as laws have changed since the building was built in 1878. You need to have other amenities.
ADA.
Huh? Yeah, all the ADA, exactly. So we put handicap accessible entrance on the back of the facility. The entire new 3rd floor, it's got an entire 3rd floor where in the past it didn't. And the entire sprinkler system, and updating all of it. I mean, it is just an amazing building now. Not that it wasn't amazing from a historical standpoint, but actually for a government purpose, now it's going to be absolutely perfect for what our adult probation needs are.
And adult probation is always expanding, so this is going to give us the ability to expand with the 3rd floor being redone. And if we didn't do it now, to do it later would have been practically impossible. So that's why we did the 3rd floor. That's what kind of brought the cost of the rehabilitation up.
The big program, the celebration, is Saturday evening. Mm-hmm. Is the building done? Is it ready to go?
They're buttoning it up. I see they're out there right now, figuring out the rest of the stuff that needs to be done. Little things here and there, but it better be ready on Saturday. That's all I had to say.
Well, then let's talk about the big celebration Saturday evening. You're inviting everyone down at 5:30.
5:30.
Tell us what happens then, and then leading up to the big event at 7.
Well, 5:30 is where we'll start a lot of the family activities that will be taking place. We really want this to be a family event. I mean, I think it's a historic event. I think, it's great to bring the kids down, bring the whole family down, so that you can actually experience an important day in Lorain County history. This doesn't happen that often. We will have family activities for the kids and the families. Everybody loves hot dogs and pizza. Last time I checked, we'll have that. We'll have beverages. I don't know if my colleagues will participate in face painting, but we're gonna we're gonna have face painting for that. And Ray Yours and his band, which is
Swing
called
City Band.
Swing City Band, they have a great following, and they're going to be there playing some really fantastic music all the way up until 7 o'clock, and then 7 o'clock is when we start the actual ceremonial program.
Now, we're
There will-
talking, we're
there will
talking
be
about the judge there, right?
Yes.
The judge is part of the swing band.
Right.
I knew he had done some stage work before, but I did not know he was part of that band. Check them out on YouTube. If you haven't heard or seen them, you've got to do it on YouTube or be there Saturday evening. It's
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Right.
Yeah, they're very good, very good.
Also,
There'll be tours
go
of the
ahead.
courthouse, and also there'll be trolley rides, and people can actually go and see the transportation center too. So if you haven't seen the transportation center, you have an opportunity to see that also. Another historic building.
Some other dedications too as part of the courthouse grounds. Talk about that.
You want to talk about World War II
Sure.
first?
I'll be participating in the World War II Memorial rededication. We've kind of divided up the memorial dedications that we'll be doing throughout the evening. Obviously, we start with the courthouse. That'll be at 7 o'clock. And then the World War II Memorial we will rededicate. A lot of individuals, quite frankly, when I talk to them in the community, and you may have experienced this as well too, they didn't know these memorials were there because they used to be covered with bushes and trees and very hard to find and see. Actually, I walked around the courthouse the other day, and the World War II Memorial was actually originally dedicated in 1950, and it's marble. It looks brand new. We cleaned it up. It looks brand new. It's amazing how well that's held up all the years. But it was originally dedicated by the AMVETS of Elyria, so the AMVETS will be there with their color guard. We're also going to have Mr. Goodman, right, with the World War II
Art
vet,
Goodman, right.
is going to be there. Art Goodman will be there, and we'll rededicate that, and that'll be, I think, around 8:15 in the evening.
And then I will be rededicating the Workers' Memorial, and that was dedicated back by the AFL-CIO and the steelworkers back in the day. So that's who will be doing that this on Saturday. And
It's important for them to know your father's history.
well,
with
yeah,
the
that's how I got
AFL-CIO.
chosen to do the Workers' Memorial. My father was the first president of the AFL-CIO in Northeast Ohio, so looking forward to that. This is not a new memorial. We go there every year for the Workers' Memorial, both in Lorain and Elyria. So, but just draw attention to all of our memorials.
It was hard to find and see before. Now you can actually see it, and we
Right.
cleaned it up.
Right,
And then our newest memorial,
the
Police
exciting
and
one.
Fire, you're right, Police and Fire Memorial will be dedicating. A lot of speakers, we're all gonna speak at that, very important. A county Police and Fire Safety Forces Memorial, Judge Walter will be speaking, Chief Kavanaugh from the Sheriff's Department, and a multitude of other law enforcement and from fire. So, I mean, just something to honor those who've lost their lives. We'll have the Eternal Light will be lighting up, and then after that, we're also gonna have the Solemn Parade of Safety Vehicles. Most of the departments, if not all in the county, are going to be sending 1 or 2 vehicles for the purpose of the dedication of the new memorial, and then we'll go to light the courthouse after that, which is gonna be an amazing, it's just beautiful when it's lit. Not that some pictures weren't already released on Facebook in the past, but we'll do it right this time.
In recent years, that police, law enforcement, first responder, fire, that memorial has moved around the county a bit, but now it'll
It's gonna
have its
have a
own
home.
home.
Right.
Yeah.
We're excited about that.
And one more thing about the exterior of the county courthouse. As you mentioned, you can now see it. You can see it in all its glory.
Yes.
Because previously, it was a little tough to see from different angles.
Well, it was
Now
covered
it's-
in trees, Craig. I mean,
Right.
you got rid of all the trees, the sandstone's drying out. Big difference. You can't cover a sandstone building with trees and moisture, and it's gotta dry out. It's a natural stone, so it makes a big difference. So the building's clean, it's been power washed, doesn't have all that green growing 4 foot up the side of it.
Yeah.
So I just, it's major difference. I mean, I think it's really an asset to our community, and Elyria in particular.
Well, we hope to see a big turnout. Again, that's this Saturday evening. The fun starts at 5:30, formal ceremonies at 7. People can come to downtown Elyria, take a tour of the new county courthouse, refurbished county courthouse, and take part in the dedication ceremonies too. Thank you all for being with us. We have Commissioners Matt Lundy, Ted Kalo, Lori Kukowski. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
you.